Time now for business. Let's say hello to Cole Stangler. And we begin with the resignation of the boss of a mining industry giant.
That's right. Rio Tinto CEO Jean-Sébastien Jacques says he plans to step down by March the latest. A couple of other senior figures also slated to depart. And it's all over a 46,000-year-old Aboriginal cave, something the world's second largest mining company destroyed back in May as it aimed to expand an iron ore mine in the area. Indigenous groups had widely condemned the move, but so had company shareholders, with that criticism apparently growing too large to ignore. James Wilson has the details on what the resignations mean for Rio Tinto and for the mining sector at large.
It's been heralded as a victory for Aboriginal rights and shareholder activism. 3 executives at Rio Tinto have resigned after it was revealed the mining giant blew up ancient Aboriginal rock shelters in Western Australia. In a sector where companies' records on climate issues and ethics are increasingly under the spotlight, shareholders revolted. Many were furious that the news could hit the company's long-term prospects. And on Friday, it was announced the CEO and his 2 deputies would be leaving Rio Tinto.
What happened in Juukan was wrong, and we're determined to ensure that the destruction of a heritage site of such exceptional archaeological and cultural significance never occurs again at a Rio Tinto operation.
In 2019, sales of iron ore extracted from Western Australian mines grew to €60 billion. But this means the industry often comes into conflict with the land's traditional owners. Priceless Aboriginal art has been destroyed before, and community leaders are calling for fundamental change.
We're also calling for a systemic and forensic review of their systems and processes and policies, and it needs to be Aboriginal-led. I've been talking to a lot of mining companies of recent time, and everyone that I talk to is non-Aboriginal and they're doing, Aboriginal business. So it needs to be Aboriginal-led, and we need change.
There are, however, some tentative signs of change already. In June, Rio Tinto's rival BHP announced it was pausing the expansion of a mine in order to consult with Aboriginal leaders on how best to preserve Indigenous works of art in the area.
Now, trade talks may be going rough with the European Union, but that hasn't stopped Britain from making other agreements. Earlier in the day, the UK and Japan celebrated a new trade pact. London says it'll boost exchange between the two by more than 16 billion euros, even if it largely replicates the existing deal between the EU and Japan. Either way, the British government is celebrating the agreement. The country's highest-ranking trade official called it a historic moment.
For Britain, this agreement is a sign and a signal that we are back as an independent trading nation. When we left the EU, we did so on the promise of looking far beyond our own shores and striking comprehensive trade deals with like-minded friends and allies. This deal is testament to that vision and ambition. It's our first deal as an independent trading nation and offers a glimpse of what we can achieve outside the EU.
Let's take a look now at the day's trading action. It's a mixed bag on the European markets to close out the week. So you can see here, shares in the FTSE actually up nearly 0.5%. Slight gains on the CAC 40, but slight losses over on the DAX in Frankfurt. Investors trying to make sense of the growing tensions over a post-Brexit trade agreement. On Wall Street, meanwhile, shares showing some modest gains. You can see there, Dow Jones up a bit, 0.7% gains on the S&P, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ is also down. It's actually down 4%, 0.4%, on track now for its worst week since March. Now, earlier today, Eurozone finance ministers met in Berlin. They emphasized their commitment to fiscal stimulus, including the EU's landmark €750 billion recovery package. The head of the European Central Bank was also there with a message. Even if economies are rebounding slowly, governments should not become complacent. Take a listen.
For us, this current moment is coined by this uneven, incomplete, and asymmetric recovery that we have observed in the third quarter after a very, very catastrophic second quarter, unparalleled in peacetime. Second, I would observe that it is surrounded by a lot of uncertainty.
And finally, to the U.S., where the National Football League has kicked off a football season like no other. It's also one shaping up to be a lot less profitable than usual. According to the Wall Street Journal, NFL revenue could drop by as much as some $4 billion this year. It's about a quarter of the usual revenue for the league, the most profitable sports league on the planet. Of course, Francois, the drop linked to the decline in spectators, some teams allowing some limited numbers of fans, but you understand why people might not want to go to a football game right now.
Many thanks for that, Cole Stangler. We'll have more business news for you later, including the closing word on Wall Street.